A synagogue totally destroyed by fire in Jackson, Mississippi. This is the only synagogue known as Beth Israel Congregation. A horrific, terrible act of a violence by an individual by the name of Spencer Pittman. He did it with pure anti-Semitism. No other reason other than he has been listening to the anti-Semitic rhetoric that has been allowed to go unchecked in the streets of America and throughout the world. This wasn't the first time this congregation was subjected to violence. The KKK attacked the synagogue and the rabbi's home in 1967. And here yet again, in 2026, the same congregation was attacked. They threw flammable gasoline into the library, ignited all the books that were there, and the fire rapidly spread throughout the whole building, including burning some of the very sacred Torah scrolls. This is an absolute terrible tragedy. It's a tragedy not just for the Jewish community in Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi, but it's a tragedy for all Jewish people throughout the world and a tragedy for America. But everything that happens in life, everything that we see, everything that we hear, and everything that we have experienced is with divine providence. And what could the possible takeaway be from such a terrible act? The good news is that no one was hurt. The good news is there were no injuries, no life lost. But this is actually very up close and personal to myself because our synagogue was also attacked in a very different way. Our building, thank God, still stands tall and beautiful in the city of Poway, California, a northern suburb of San Diego. But on April 27, 2019, the last day of Passover, also a young anti-Semite, white supremacist, decided to come with an AR-15, breached our synagogue, shot and killed Lori Gilbert Kay right in front of my eyes as I was talking to her. He then lifted up his AR-15 to shoot and kill me, but fortunately there were children playing behind me, and instinctively my reflex was go run and save the children, whatever will be will be. And I acted on that instinct and I ran towards the children. He lifted up the AR-15 and began shooting at me. 4 bullets, high-powered rifle, came right at me. I lost these fingers, but the rest of me survived. I was able to bring the children to safety. When I came back up into the line of fire, I learned that some very brave men of the congregation chased the shooter out. He fled the scene and then eventually surrendered. His very first words to the 911 dispatch was, "I just shot up a synagogue. I killed a rabbi and others." That was what he thought. So when you hear about a synagogue being attacked, this touches very close up front and personal to ourselves. We are the second synagogue in all United States history to have had a mass shooting. He had enough ammunition to kill everyone that was there that day. He wanted to replicate what happened in New Zealand just a few months earlier at a mosque where no one survived, everyone was killed. But that day, amidst the tragedy and the darkness, there was miracles of blessings that he was only able to shoot one person. Our hearts and souls and prayers go out for Lori Lynn Gilbert Kay, has lost her life at age 60. But her life that was lost at that day wasn't just a loss to her and to the family and to the community, but to the world and to America. That we are living in a 21st century. These type of hatred, baseless hatred, should have no place. And we cannot, under the guise of freedom of speech, allow the type of rhetoric that has been going on unchecked and the amount of anti-Semitism that has grown over time, because there are repercussions. There's a ripple effect. When there is such baseless hatred allowed to go unchecked, this will certainly and uncertainly incite this type of anti-Semitism. And this is perhaps the takeaway that we should take away from this terrible event that just happened in Jackson, Mississippi. Why this man decided that it was his right to torch up and burn down a synagogue for no reason other than baseless hatred. Why is this type of behavior allowed, tolerated? Perhaps it is a true wake-up call to all of us here in America that we need to realize that the power of speech has consequences. The power of our ability to talk as human beings, God gave us the gift of speech to be able to use our words to build, to be constructive, to be helpful, to be communicative, not to be destructive, and not to stoke the flames of anti-Semitism and baseless hatred. So firstly, to the Jewish community, to the congregation who has lost a building, may God bless you all, that you should be able to rebuild stronger and better. And we will not allow this to define us. Just like after the mass shooting that we survived at our congregation, we made a resolve and we live by it. There's nothing that we could do to change what happened, but we can change how we react. And to me personally, I could have allowed myself to have been affected by this terrible, tragic event to define the rest of my life. But I did not allow that to happen. Rather, I made the decisive decision that wherever there's darkness, we have the ability to be light. Because a little bit of light pushes away a lot of darkness. So whenever darkness shows itself, it shows its ugly head, we need to remember and recall that we have the power of light. We have the power and the ability to dispel this darkness, that it doesn't have any stand whatsoever, because darkness in itself has no standing, because light is so much more stronger than that. So I'm hoping that we all regroup and we realize anti-Semitism has no place in America. It has no place in the world. We are in the 21st century. We have learnt that it's time that we begin coexisting with each other, appreciating each other, and regardless if our theological belief system is different than each other, that should have absolutely no effect on our humanity of human beings, of having respect for each other as human beings. God created us all in God's image, and therefore we all have the right and the ability to be able to respect each other's properties, each other's bodies, and each other's belief system. And realizing and recognizing that in life, whatever we see and hear is a lesson that brings us the divine providence. So may God bless all those in Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi. The loss of your synagogue is a heartbreak. The loss of those Torah scrolls is a heartbreak. But they went up in flames. Their souls ascended with the smoke up to heaven, but the building will be rebuilt, and we are going to rebuild stronger and greater. And this is something I can share with you personally, that surviving a mass shooting teaches you that you only get stronger and greater. What doesn't break you makes you. And for the rest of the world, let's not allow the rhetoric of anti-Semitism be allowed in any form, shape. It must be shut down immediately because of the consequences. Always ends up being not only destructive, but many have died, and much pain and suffering has occurred in the world through allowing such baseless rhetoric and baseless hatred amidst us. That God bless us all, that we grow and we live from every event that happens in life, the good, the bad, the ugly. We all know that God in heaven is watching, and God in heaven is sensitive towards our plight and will continue to protect us when we are at the right side of history. And we should no longer ever hear of such losses and only see better and greater times. You and I can be that little bit of light that will push away a lot of darkness. A little bit of light is doing random acts of goodness and kindness, getting reconnected with God, bringing God into your conversation, allowing God to be present and mix yourself from morning till you go to sleep. God is going to be looking over your shoulder, and you include God in your life, God will include you as well for all the blessings that you need in an abundant measure. And may we all see greater and better times with the revelation of the coming of the Messiah speedily in our days. God bless you. God loves you.